What's up, guys? We're back with a full slate of NBA action here on Thursday, February 6th. We're going to break down every NBA game tonight. We're also going to look at several of the biggest NCAA basketball games on the slate. We're going to look at bets on the side and over-under, and make sure to check that pinned comment throughout the day to see if there are any changes as injury news and player availability is confirmed. This is especially important right now, guys, with the trade deadline looming. Yesterday did not go great, guys. We've been running pretty hot there for a while. We were bound to have a little bit of a down day eventually. We had the Spurs minus 4.5. They definitely should have covered that, but kind of fell apart on the last few possessions of the game, ended up only winning by 1. That over in the Miami-Philadelphia game was definitely on pace through the first 3 quarters, but neither team could really score in the fourth quarter, so we come up a little bit short there. We had the Chicago Bulls plus 10.5. They were chilling. They were doing fine, but then they got outscored 33-18 there in the fourth quarter to end up not cashing that one either. We did have the Thunder minus 12.5. Like we had said, that was our favorite play of the day, so we'll definitely take the win on that one. They're blowing out the Suns. That game's not even over. They're up by 36 though with a minute and a half left. I think we can count that one as a win. So a 1-3 day, definitely not what we had in mind, guys. Do me a favor anyway, since we've been on such a good run lately, and hit that thumbs up button. Help these videos get promoted out there. Helps the channel grow. Also subscribe to the channel. That does a ton to help the channel grow, obviously, and it's 100% free and lets me know that you guys enjoy this content. You can also now sign up for a channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. Members get exclusive early access to all my videos and get their names up on screen just like right now. I really appreciate the support from all of you. Seeing that badge next to your comments keeps me fired up and lets me know that I have some big time super fans out there. All of our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. We have a team of experienced cappers over there for every major sport, currently covering NBA, college basketball, UFC, NHL, and the Super Bowl is coming up very, very soon. Click the link in the description to head over to StumpTheSpread.com and check us out. If you're not sure if you want to sign up for a premium membership right away, no problem there, guys. Get on our free email list. You get free picks straight to your inbox once a day. You also get, updates on our results on our premium picks as well. So that's a great way to stay up to date with everything that we have going on. Also, comment below with any bets you're looking at today, and I'll give you my best advice on all of them. I'm here every single day going through these comments, helping you guys out as much as I can. I get comment notifications straight to my phone, so even if I'm not at my computer, I'm seeing every single one of your comments, and I'm answering every single one I can possibly get to. I do have a new baby in the house, so sometimes there's a little bit of a delay, but I'm right there and I answer every single comment, at least eventually, if not right away. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our first game of the day. We've got the Dallas Mavericks going on the road in this one to take on the Boston Celtics. The Mavs come into this game fresh off a 118-116 loss there at the Philadelphia 76ers. We were on the 76ers in that game, so thank you. Mavs for coming up a little bit short. Massive game there from Kyrie. He put up, 34 points? Yeah, 34 points, 11 of 21 from the field, 10 of 11 from the free throw line, so good stuff from him. Klay Thompson, though, another mediocre day. Dante Exum actually played pretty well in his 20 minutes there in the starting lineup. Gafford played okay. 19 points from Najee Marshall coming off the bench. A very nice night from him. And Max Christie played well also. So we're just kind of waiting here for whenever we're going to get the debut of Anthony Davis. And that could be coming up pretty soon. We didn't even hate what we saw from the Mavs in that game. It was against pretty much the not the full strength 76ers. No Paul George, but they did have Embiid in that game and he played well. Maxey played great also. So it was close to the full strength 76ers for sure. The Mavs come into this game. We don't necessarily think we're going to see PJ Washington or Anthony Davis. Right now, they're both listed as out. Yeah, PJ Washington missing game for personal reasons there. We'll see what goes on with him. We don't really have a ton of clarity on why he's missing games right now, but it does appear that he's going to be out for this one. Anthony Davis with his abdomen problem that we didn't even really that was something that was happening with the Lakers, so we'll see. He's questionable for this game. He has another on-court workout scheduled for Wednesday. It appears that one went okay. He got through a session on Tuesday, so there's a good chance that he will be out there in this one against the Boston Celtics. If not, he could be playing on Saturday against the Houston Rockets. So either way, it's going to be against a pretty tough team. I don't think there's a ton of benefit for him to put that off. Other than that, they are still going to be missing Caleb Martin, it appears. It sounds like he's not going to make his debut until Saturday. So there is a chance that Anthony Davis could also be making his debut on Saturday. So we're going to have to wait a little bit on this game for some clarity on this situation. But the Mavs are going on the road in this one to take on the Boston Celtics, who are 36-15 this season. They've won 4 in a row. They're coming off a huge win, a 112-105 win there at the Cavaliers. So that had to feel pretty good, guys. They can reassert themselves as the best team in the Eastern Conference with that win. They're 36-15 on the year, so not a whole lot of issues confronting the Celtics right now. In that win over Cleveland, they just jumped out to a big first quarter lead and really just rode that out throughout the rest of the game. Tatum, an okay game, didn't shoot the ball particularly well. We saw good stuff there from Derek White. He had a kind of a get back game. He's had his struggles recently. Jaylen Brown played well. We saw good stuff from Al Horford off the bench. The Celtics won despite shooting only 35% from 3 and 40% from the field. So definitely numbers that they can improve on, although Cleveland played pretty tough defense. So we'll see what they can do here going up against, a definitely much less scary Dallas Mavericks team. In terms of their injury report, they do look pretty healthy. Drew Holiday is on there. He's currently questionable with a right shoulder impingement, so that does sound like something that's very likely to keep him out of this game. He hasn't been playing particularly well either, so I think we see him pretty likely to not play in this game. Like I said, though, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Looking at the numbers for this one, the Celtics are 11-point favorites at home. We got a total of 229 out there. Dallas 11-14-2 against spread on the road, 13-10-1 against spread after a loss, though. That's pretty decent. And they're 27-24 to the over. Boston 9-16 against spread on the road, 7-27-1 against spread after win. That's an NBA worst mark. They are also a slight under team. Guys, we're not making this any more complicated than it has to be. This is a system play. We are fading the Boston Celtics coming off a win until we get burned by this. Give me the Dallas Mavericks plus 11. If Anthony Davis ends up playing this game, fantastic. If he doesn't, I don't care. Still give me the Mavs in this spot. I think we'll see an off night there from Boston. They won't take this game seriously coming off of such a huge win, and I think we see Dallas at least keep this thing to single digits. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Houston Rockets. They're going on the road in this one to take on the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Rockets come into this game struggling. They've actually lost 4 in a row, including 2 losses to the Brooklyn Nets. That is not a great look for a team that, was looking like a contender in the West there for a few games. All of a sudden, not so much. In that loss against Brooklyn, it wasn't necessarily the 100% Rockets. They haven't had Fred VanVleet. That's clearly been a big problem. Amen Thompson, a huge letdown game, only 7 points in 40 minutes. Clearly dealing with a lot of fatigue out there. 24 points from Alperen Sengun coming off of an absence. 24 points, 20 boards, 4 assists. He was balling out there, and the bench played pretty well, but all of it just was not enough. In the end, they end up taking a 2-point loss there against the Brooklyn Nets. Not what you're supposed to be doing if you're the Houston Rockets. Those games, I don't care if it's on no rest, are not even supposed to be close. So we'll see what kind of bounce back they have in store here. I mean, we do see a crowded injury report. Still a couple guys on there. Fred VanVleet, the most important one. He's still on there. Steven Adams, Tari Eason also present. It sounds like Fred VanVleet is still going to be out for this game with that right ankle sprain. He was considered week to week a couple of days ago, and yeah, there's no news coming out that suddenly he's going to be ready to go for this one. So no Fred VanVleet. Tari Eason didn't play in that game against the Nets. Lower leg injury management, we fully expect to see him back for this game. Steven Adams with an ankle issue, he's doubtful, and his size not being around is definitely a concern for this one. It would have been nice to have him to be able to go out there and bang with Rudy Gobert every once in a while. But that's just not going to be the case here for Houston as they go on the road to take on the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are fresh off a desperately needed 127-108 win last night against the Bulls. They were letting the Bulls hang around, and the Bulls were playing pretty well, but Anthony Edwards' 49 points in the end was just too much. And yeah, maybe the Bulls ran out of steam there at the end of the game. I'm not sure 100% what happened, but we were pretty annoyed because we were on the Bulls plus 10.5, and it was looking good for 3 quarters, and all of a sudden it was just very out of reach. So we'll see what the Timberwolves do in this one. Obviously, a massive game there from Anthony Edwards, although I don't think the plan is for him to be scoring 50 points a night, although that might be what he needs to do. Naz Reid in the starting lineup playing well. Rudy Gobert, 10 points. Ooh, 12 points there from Nickeil Alexander-Walker coming off the bench. A big part of the reason the Timberwolves won this game was they shot 42.5% from three-point range. So they'll definitely take that. They'll also take it dominating the boards. Will they be able to do that on back-to-back nights? Well, we will just have to see, guys, because the Timberwolves, they're 1-point favorites in this game at home. We've got a total of 215.5. Houston, 17-8-1 against spread on the road. That's an NBA best road record. They are 11-6 against spread after a loss, which is also very good. And they're a slight over team. Minnesota, 5-18-1 against spread at home. That's an NBA worst at home record. They are 3-4 against spread on no rest, and they are 12-15 against spread after a win. They're also a slight over team, so you could definitely talk me into over 215.5 in this game, maybe. But with these two teams being defensive minded, it's not a play I'm very interested in. I am, however, interested in continuing to fade the Minnesota Timberwolves playing at home. Give me the Rockets here at +1. I wish we were getting a little bit more points, although that seems insane because Minnesota has not been very good this season. So definitely give me the Rockets here. They're in a big bounce back spot after taking a couple of very, very unnecessary losses, and with probably everybody back except for VanVleet that I really, really care about. Like the Steven Adams thing, it'd be nice to have him, but it's not the end of the world to not have him. I like the Rockets in this spot a good amount. Rolling right along here, guys, we're looking at the Orlando Magic going on the road to take on the Denver Nuggets. The Magic come into this game. Well, they're actually currently playing right now, but they are destroying the Sacramento Kings. So it looks like they're going to be off of a win. They're up 122-94 against Sacramento. Clearly not having a great time with their first game with Zach LaVine out there. So we'll see how that goes down the stretch. But the Magic, not a team that's had a great time recently. This is a desperately needed win for them. Obviously, to be 24-27 on the season after the runs that this team has had at different points this year is pretty unexpected. expected. We see both Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero playing great in this game. Just good stuff across the board, really, for the Magic, which I guess is what you would expect, seeing them getting the complete blowout here. 15 points off the bench for Anthony Black. The Magic are shooting 52% from three-point range in this game. Just a blowout game there for the Orlando Magic. So they've got to be feeling fantastic about that. We obviously don't have a very updated injury report. Jalen Suggs has been the main guy for them that's been missing time lately. He did not play on Wednesday against Sacramento, still dealing with that quadriceps injury. Yeah, that was his 5th straight absence there. We'll see when he comes back. We don't have a lot of clarity. It seems kind of unlikely that he would be back for this game, but we really don't know that for sure. And it's definitely a big deal if he's back, because they're taking on the Denver Nuggets, who are cruising right now. They've won 4 in a row. They just blew out the Pelicans. They did a good job in that little 2-game series there against New Orleans. Both those games were in Denver, and that's obviously not the toughest opponent. So they will certainly take that. Another big night out there from Michael Porter Jr. He's been playing great. Obviously, Jokic is playing amazing, and anytime you put up 144 points in an NBA game, you gotta feel pretty good about it. They did give up 28 points to Zion, who's looking a lot better recently, but yeah, Jokic with 38, 10, and 8. Yeah, that's pretty good. A plus 24, that'll definitely work. Jamal Murray, only 10 points in his 36 minutes, but he seemed more than happy to defer out there. Things were just all really clicking there for the Denver Nuggets, who could use some wins at this point. They're trying to climb the standings out there in the West. Looking at their injury report for this game, we see Russell Westbrook still on there. He's listed as out for this game. Sounds like there's no real timetable for his return. With a hamstring strain, you don't really know, but you do know it's going to be a while, and they need him fully healthy and ready to go at, whatever crazy mile per hour number you're going to put on Russell Westbrook, because that dude gets after it. So he's been a big addition for them. Once he comes back, it's going to make this team even better, and that's one of the big reasons they didn't need to try to do really anything at the trade deadline. So we'll see what the Denver Nuggets can get done in this one. They're 9-point favorites. We've got a total of 220.5. Orlando only 9-18 against spread on the road. They're 4-4 against spread on no rest. They're 31-20 to the under. Denver 12-10-1 against spread at home, 7-3 against the spread on no rest. They are 31-19 to the over. So they've been a massive over team this season. We'll see if this is a over spot that we're interested. 220.5 is not that many points, especially in a Denver Nuggets game, but I don't think we're going to see the Magic have a great time. It seems like, they are fresh off of a blowout, but now playing in Denver, that's a tough look. I do think we're going to be on the Denver Nuggets -9 in this one. I don't know if it's going to end up in the pin comment. That's a lot of points for a Nuggets team that's shooting the ball a little bit above what you could expect them to shoot it at. So maybe they're in for a little bit of regression here, but I certainly think the Nuggets are the side you want to be in on this game. Hey guys, jumping in here with a quick ad break. This is a great time to sign up for StompTheSpread.com. Signing up for a premium membership gets you access to our top confidence plays on all the major sports. We're currently covering NCAA basketball, the NBA, NHL, UFC, and the NFL. We have a team of professional cappers that work extremely hard putting in the research on these games every day so you don't have to. We make things very easy for you with pick notifications directly to your phone and unit sizes assigned to each play so you can see where our confidence level is on every individual matchup. To test out the service before you buy, join our free email list, get the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Just click the link in the description to sign up for a free account. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Now guys, back to the games. Rolling right along here, guys, we're looking at the Golden State Warriors going on the road in this one to take on the Los Angeles Lakers. This is one of our marquee games of the night. The Warriors coming into this game 25-25 on the season, fresh off a loss there at the Utah Jazz, losing that game 131-128, due in a large part to Jordan Clarkson and Keontae George just absolutely making mincemeat of them. But things are about to change there for Golden State. They've finally made a deal. After all the smoke, there was finally some fire. The Warriors acquiring Jimmy Butler, essentially for Andrew Wiggins. That's kind of the way it's going to work out. They gave up some other, ancillary pieces, but the main thing is no more Andrew Wiggins, bringing in Jimmy Butler. Are we going to get the motivated, locked-in version of Jimmy Butler or the mad, disgruntled Jimmy Butler? I would hope it'd be the locked-in one, because the Warriors are also giving him a 2-year contract extension. So pretty much locked in on Jimmy Butler there. Going to be interesting to see how that works out. It'll also be interesting to see when we actually see him out there. Golden State coming off of a game where Curry went nuts. 6 of 18 from 3 isn't amazing, but 32 points looks pretty good. 29 there from Bajemski. Nice to see him play well and do a great job getting to the line. Weird that you see a second-year player getting more respect from the officials and get to the line infinitely more than Steph Curry ever does. That's a whole different gripe, but not loving what we saw from the Warriors bench, which definitely didn't get much better with this deal, but we'll see what happens. Their defense was pretty terrible, but I would say that they were all probably very, very distracted by all the trade stuff going on. So we'll see what things look like here for the Warriors once they have all their pieces, on board and out there on the floor. Obviously, Jimmy Butler not going to be making his debut in this one. It sounds like, if I had to guess, he'll probably be waiting at least one game, but definitely not going to be, ready to go for this one. So we will see. We'll see how things look for the Warriors here down the stretch. Other than Jimmy, guys, we could expect guys like Steph to possibly sit this game out. We could see Moses Moody. He's on the injury report. He's dealing with a back issue. Maybe they held him out because he could have possibly been traded, but maybe not. So we'll see what goes on with the Warriors here in this one as they head to the Lakers, who come to this game 29-19 on the season, fresh off a blowout win there at the Clippers. That was a crazy, crazy game. The Clippers came out insanely flat. The Lakers, after making that big Luka trade, despite not having Luka ready to go, he was on the bench, seemed super, super energized, and just came out and absolutely laid it on him. LeBron, 26 points, 8 of 13 from the field, 8 of 11 from the free throw line. The Lakers shot nearly 50% from 3 in the game. They did an amazing job on the boards, despite, not having, adequate size to match up there against Zubac. Jackson Hayes, 24 minutes, 6 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. He actually played really, really well, but yeah, it was just a very good defensive night there from the Lakers, and we saw everybody shoot the ball pretty well. So dominant stuff from the Lakers in that one. They come into this game still, not going to have Doncic back. It sounds like Saturday is a possibility, guys. Sounds like, Saturday against the Pacers could really be when he comes back for this one. So it'll be interesting to see what they do here on Thursday, see if they still have that same fire. LeBron is on the injury report, but he is always on there. So is Gabe Vincent. LeBron probable for this game, so Gabe Vincent is also probable. So I think they'll have pretty much the full complement of guys, and that's why they are minus 6.5 for this one. We've got a total of 221.5. The Warriors 11-9-1 against spread on the road, 3-5 against spread on no rest, and 26-23 to the under. The Lakers 13-9 against spread at home, 14-13-1 against spread after a win. They are 25-23 to the under. So both teams showing trends towards the under. We've got a total of 221.5. I don't know if I'm really interested in the under in this game, guys, but I'm definitely interested in the Lakers at minus 6.5. This is a play that will definitely go in the pinned comment. The Warriors going to be all shook up after that trade. They're also going to be tired coming off of a max effort loss there against the Utah Jazz. They might not even have Curry, so I would jump on this one early, get that Lakers at 6.5 locked in before we have any crazy news come out for Golden State, which will certainly not have Jimmy Butler unless something insane happens, unless he was sitting in Golden State just waiting for this to happen, which I don't think was the case. So give me the Lakers here at minus 6.5. Rolling right along, guys, we're looking at the Sacramento Kings going on the road to take on the Portland Trail Blazers. The Kings come into this game fresh off getting absolutely blown out there by the Orlando Magic, and their first game was Zach LaVine, so that probably doesn't feel amazing, but you have to expect growing pains when you go through so much change here. LaVine did not look good in his 31 minutes, guys, only scoring 13 points. We had 21 there from Sabonis. He just continues to put up good numbers. Do what he can on this team that's not having a good time at all. Keon Ellis actually played decent off the bench, but nobody else really distinguished themselves and was kind of a stinker of a game. I mean, DeRozan played okay, I guess. They shot 37% from 3, 50% from the field, and still managed to lose by around 20 points. So not a great look. They did do a good job on the boards, I suppose, but yeah, they had no answers out there defensively for either Banchero or Franz Wagner. So we'll see if the Kings can turn it around here after making this trade. I don't know that this really makes them better. Like, is Zach LaVine better than De'Aaron Fox? Feels like a bit of a stretch to me. Obviously, we don't have a fully updated injury report, and adding Jonas Valanciunas in is an interesting move. They can go 2 bigs now with him and Sabonis, so that could be cool. He can stretch the floor a little bit better than Sabonis. I would say he's definitely a better 3-point shooter, but I don't know. Maybe that's a stretch as well. So we'll see what Valanciunas does here once he is available. We don't have a ton of clarity on when he's going to be able to play, but I certainly don't think it's going to be for this game. So we'll see what the Kings can do here as they go on the road on back-to-back nights here to take on the Portland Trail Blazers, who are now 22-29 in the year. They're coming off a 5th straight win. They've won 9 out of their last 10 games. Absolutely cruising right now that they've gotten healthy. Their last game was a 112-89 comfortable win there against the Indiana Pacers. Anthony Simons played really, really well in the win. We saw a 20-point game from Jeremy Grant, somebody who I think is a little bit overpaid given what he does, but that's part of the reason he's stayed on this team. He's been kind of stuck with his team. Other teams don't want to pay him, but I think he could really have helped a contender. Maybe he still could. Scoot Henderson, he was a plus 31 with 17 points. Everybody who held onto their property on Scoot Henderson Island has to be feeling amazing right now because the real estate prices there are skyrocketing. He's been playing amazing here down the stretch, and a lot of good stuff coming up here for the Portland Trail Blazers. They dominated the boards in this game, and they just continue to look great out there. They're staying healthy. That's a huge, huge deal. They've held on to guys like DeAndre Ayton. He's been playing great. Denny Adjeva, he's played great. Anthony Simons has been playing really, really well. Donovan Clingan's played great in his spot minutes. Like, just a ton of positives right now for the Portland Trail Blazers, and you can see they're finally being given a lot of respect by the odds makers. They're getting only 1.5 points here at home. We've got a total of 230.5. Sacramento 10, 13, and 1 against spread on the road, 3 and 6 against spread on no rest. They're 26, 21, and 2 to the over. Portland 16 and 11 against spread at home, 14, 6, and 1 against spread after a win. That's an NBA best mark against spread when coming off a win. They're also a slight under team. I don't care about the over-under here, guys, but this is a great spot to take the Portland Trail Blazers. Getting 1.5 to me, they should honestly be like 4 or 5 point favorites in this game with the way they've been playing and the way the Kings have been playing. They've got guys that can match up against Sabonis. They're not going to have any problems there, and the Kings are going to be tired playing on back-to-back nights. Definitely give me the Portland Trail Blazers getting 1.5. This might be my favorite pick of the day, although we really like the Lakers also, and the Mavs plus 11, and the Rockets plus. There's a lot of good spots today, so this is definitely one that's going to go on the pinned comment with the others. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Indiana Pacers going on the road to take on the LA Clippers. The Pacers 28 and 21 on the year. They're coming off of that tough loss there at Portland where they didn't really play particularly well. Now they got to continue this road trip. Siakam only 16 points in the loss. Tyrese Halliburton, a no-show, 0 points, 25 minutes, 0 of 3 from the field. We'll be checking in on his situation later on. Not loving anything we saw from the bench, except for TJ McConnell, continues to be a solid presence, but Indiana shot only 20% from 3 in that game, got dominated on the boards. Just a no good, bad game there for the Pacers, who haven't been having the worst time lately. They had won 4 in a row before that, although none of those wins were really against, contender-type teams, so I don't know what to say about the Pacers right now. Definitely not having the season that they had hoped for, though. I can guarantee you that. So we'll see what they do in this one. Their injury report is looking clean. Like, they're ready to go. Halliburton just had a terrible game. Like, no injury reported or anything like that. So he's going to be ready to go. I would assume he's going to play more than 25 minutes. And I would hope to God that he would, play a lot better than he played in his last one. Not like he's been lighting the world on fire, though, this season. It's been a really, really down year there for Tyrese Halliburton. So we'll see what the Pacers can do here on the road against the LA Clippers, who are in a huge bounce-back spot after losing 2 in a row. They went up to Toronto and lost, as we predicted, and then the opposite of what we predicted their last time out, guys, they just got absolutely dominated by the Lakers. Pretty embarrassing stuff to lose to a Lakers team that just made a huge trade, is missing Anthony Davis, doesn't have Luka except for, on the bench in street clothes, and you just get completely destroyed. They had no answers for LeBron. They had no answers for Austin Reeves. They had no answers for Rui Hachimura. Like, what is going on? Like, a terrible, terrible game. Norman Powell had 20 points, but Harden, garbage. Kawhi, garbage. Like, the Clippers as a team shot 29% from 3. Zubac only got 7 shot attempts, only made 2 of them. Like, how are you doing so terrible against Jackson Hayes and Rui Hachimura and LeBron? Like, that's who you're being guarded by right now, Zubac. Like, you're supposed to be having a career year. Garbage. Bones Highland scored 12 points off the bench. He's probably the player that played the best in the entire game, and he was playing in garbage time. The Clippers got dominated on the boards. Like, it was just a terrible, embarrassing performance there for the Clippers. So we'll see if they've got a bounce back in them. You would hope to God that they would, because there was no excuse for how terrible they looked in front of their home fans in their new fancy stadium against their crosstown rivals. They just got obliterated. So they've got a clean bill of health for this game. Everybody they could possibly want is rested and ready to go. They're 4-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 228.5. Indiana 14 and 13 against spread on the road, 11 8 and 1 against spread after a loss. They're a slight over team. The Clippers 18 and 8 against spread at home. They're 12 and 9 against spread after a loss. They're 29 20 and 1 to the under. Guys, I'm taking the Clippers here at -4. They should be a considerably better team than the Indiana Pacers. They're in a huge bounce-back spot. The Pacers are in a bounce-back spot as well, I will say, but not nearly as big of one. The Clippers just got embarrassed by their crosstown rivals. They need this game desperately. So give me the Clippers here at -4. I think this is another very, very solid spot. Now, guys, changing gears here a little bit, we're going to hop over and look at a bunch of college basketball games. First up, we've got number 18, Maryland. They're going on the road for one of the biggest games of the night to take on Ohio State. The Terrapins come in 17 and 5 on the season. They're having a pretty good time. They won their last 4 in a row. They currently sit at 7 and 4 out there in the Big Ten. So pretty good stuff there. Can't complain too much. I mean, their Big Ten losses have not been terrible, except for that loss at Washington. That wasn't a great look. And their loss at Oregon is looking a little bit worse as time goes on. But the last time out, a nice 76-86 win there against number 17 Wisconsin. They have a nice win against Illinois recently as well, so they've got to feel pretty good. They haven't played Ohio State yet this season, so this is definitely a fresh blood situation. Against Wisconsin, we loved what we saw pretty much across the board there from Maryland. I mean, we saw, let's see, yeah, every starter scored in double figures. 16 points there from Rice, 16 points from Gillespie. They did a very good job keeping things even on the boards. They shot 50% from 3 in this game. They did a good job at the free throw line, although both teams shot the same amount of free throws, so no big free throw disparity. They shot 40% from the field, which doesn't look great until you look at the fact they held Wisconsin to only 37.3% from the field. So just a lot of positives there for Maryland. They played really, really well in this game over the course of the season. Their numbers look excellent as well. They're 20th in the nation in points per game. That's a great look. They're a very good defensive team as well. They're not necessarily top of the mountain there in terms of rebounding, so that's something to keep an eye on, but they've got a very legitimate leading scorer there in Derek Queen, putting up 15 points per game, shooting well over 50% from the field. So just a lot of positives out there. Julian Reese, 13 points per game, shooting almost 60% from the field. This is a team to watch out for sure, especially, they're climbing the standings there in the Big Ten. We'll see what they can do down the stretch, and we'll see what they can do here on the road against a very solid opponent, the Ohio Buckeyes. They're only 13-9 on the season. They haven't had as easy of a time, but they've played really well. They've got some big-time wins. Getting a win at Purdue for sure looks great. They didn't manage to get that win against Michigan earlier in the season, but they've done some good stuff. They had won 3 in a row, but they're coming off a tough road game. They lost 87-79 there at number 18 Illinois. So we'll see what they can do to bounce back here now that they're back at home. We loved what we saw from Devin Royal in that game. He scored 29 points, but they wasted a 29-point game from Royal, a 20-point performance from Thornton, and a 20-point performance from John Mobley Jr. to end up losing this game eventually. They just could not hold on there. They had a big halftime lead and could not hold on in the second half. They got outscored 51-37 in the second period. So just not very good stuff. They didn't get the benefit of the whistle, though. I will say that Illinois did shoot double Ohio State's free throws in that game. So a lot to look at in that one. A lot to look at for sure. So we'll see if they can bounce back here. I mean, over the course of the season, their numbers look very, very good. Bruce Thornton, a monster leading scorer. They're 55th in the nation in points per game. Their rebounding numbers, kind of similar to Maryland here, not necessarily elite. Their defense, not as good as Maryland's either. So we'll see what they can get done in this spot, guys. Looking at the numbers for this game, Ohio State actually the favorite here. They're a 2.5-point favorite. We've got a total of 146. Maryland only 2-4 against spread on the road. They are 14-8 to the over. Ohio State 8-4 against spread at home, and 12-10 to the under. Guys, I think this is a spot we have to roll with Ohio State at home. They're in a bounce back spot. They're facing a team that's coming off a pretty big win there. I mean, beating number 17 Wisconsin, not an easy thing to do. So give me Ohio State here at -2.5. Is this going to go in the pinned comment? I'm not sure. I would say it maybe has a chance, but definitely worth a look. Next up, guys, we've got a deep cut. We're going out to the CAA to look at North Carolina A&T going on the road to take on Charleston. North Carolina A&T currently the worst team in the CAA. They're 0-10 in conference play, only 4-19 on the season. Just straight up not having a good time. Their last time out, they got destroyed by UNC Wilmington. They lost to Stony Brook. They lost at Townsend. They're a team that's having a very rough time. They've got a legitimate leading scorer there in Ryan Forrest, putting up almost 20 points per game, but their season-long numbers are absolutely abysmal. So they're going on the road in this one to take on one of the best teams in the conference in Charleston. They are fresh off a loss at William & Mary. They lost that game 90-75, getting absolutely embarrassed. Yeah, not a good look. You're not supposed to be losing games like that if you want to be the best team in the conference. They've got a very solid team overall. They're top 90 in the nation in points per game. They're a decent rebounding team. They don't play too much defense, and that is certainly a problem. That's something that's come back to haunt them several different times this season and definitely messed them up there at William & Mary their last time out. Looking at the numbers here, Charleston actually 20-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 152.5. NCA&T is 7-5 against spread on the road, which is nice. They're 14-8 to the over. Charleston is 6-4 against spread at home. They are 12-10 to the over as well. So I'm not really interested in that -20. If you're begging me for a side, I guess maybe give me Charleston to cover that massive number. But what I think we really want to look at here is the over. I like over 152.5 in this game for sure. Both teams showing significant trends that way. Obviously, North Carolina A&T plays no defense. Charleston doesn't play much defense either. They can put up some big numbers though, and I think this is a spot where we see an over in this game for sure. Getting over this number is a bit of a tall task, so this probably won't go in the pinned comment, but definitely the over jumps out to me on this one. Next up, guys, we are headed to the American Conference. We're looking at the Temple Owls going on the road to take on the South Florida Bulls. Temple comes into this game fresh off a nice 98-94 win and something of a thriller there against the East Carolina Pirates. It was an overtime game. Temple coming through 22-18 there in overtime. Very high scoring. Tons and tons of offense. We saw multiple 30-plus point scores in this game. Crazy stuff. 50% from three-point range there for Temple. They allowed East Carolina to shoot only 5 of 19 there from 3. So definitely a great day defensively for Temple and a great day offensively. 21 points there from Barry, 32 points there from Mashburn Jr. Like I said, 9 of 18 there from three-point range. They also did a great job getting to the line, knocking down a lot of their foul shots. They were terrible on the boards, though. That's definitely a concern for this Temple Owls team. So we'll see what they can do in this matchup. Their season-long numbers, not necessarily jumping off the page except for their offense, guys. They're 52nd in the nation, putting up over 80 points per game. They're not a terrible rebounding team either, usually, but a lot of those rebounds, those big numbers are in, some part generated by the fact that they play at a pretty high pace. Temple's 6-3 there in conference play, so needing every win they can possibly get in. This could be a chance to get another win, although South Florida, they haven't been slouches this year. They're 11-11 on the season, so not great. They are fresh off getting blown out there at FAU, but now they get to come back home. Their last home game was a win against Rice, albeit a close one. So we'll see what goes on here. Going up against Temple is not looking super easy these days. In their loss at FAU, we didn't love what we saw from South Florida. Obviously, losing 94-72 never is going to look very good. They couldn't defend the three-point line in this game. They couldn't make a shot. They shot only 32% from the field. They didn't do a very good job on the boards either. It wasn't a disaster, but it also wasn't great. So we'll see if they've got a bounce back in them. Their season-long numbers, like I was saying, don't necessarily look amazing. Not a very good defensive team. Also not very good on the boards. So looking at the numbers here, South Florida actually 1.5 point favorites at home. We've got a total of 150.5. Temple 4-3 against spread on the road, which not bad at all. They're 16-5 to the over. USF guys 3-6 against spread at home, 13-8 to the under. So with such widely varying trends towards the over/under, we're going to be staying away from that, but I definitely think we are taking the Temple Owls here on the road. They've been a good against spread team on the road. That's not a big concern. I know they're coming off a massive win. That is my bigger concern here, but I have not liked what I've seen from South Florida lately or in conference play in general. Temple guys, they do have Memphis on deck. That's a big problem too. So that's probably going to keep this out of the pin comment if I'm being honest. This is a letdown, a little bit of a letdown, or a huge letdown spot for them actually, and a look ahead spot. So too many things against what we want to be looking at here. But I do think if you want to be betting this game, you definitely want to be on Temple. South Florida, just not good enough. Next up, guys, another deep cut. We're looking at an NEC game between the Long Island Sharks and Wagner Seahawks. Long Island comes into this game. They were having such a great time there in conference play. They went on an undefeated streak, won their first 6 conference games. Now they've lost their last 4. Their last one, not a good look, a 73-67 loss there against Chicago State, a team that's, third from last in the conference. The Sharks have just really fallen off. The offense has not been there, and the defense hasn't picked up the slack. We have liked what we've seen this season in general from Milwaukee Davis, but not necessarily what we've seen from him lately. They're at Chicago State. He did have 32 points, so he's doing whatever he can, and they were very efficient points, but I think he's going to want to get up out of there out of Long Island University. The transfer portal will be, calling, because, yeah, he shot really well, 4 of 5 there from 3. His team shot 5 of 21 from 3 in the loss, so just not great. They did go into overtime in that game, so they had their chances. They had a nice lead in the first half, but blew it in the second half, and then could not keep pace there in the overtime against a team that is now 3-20 on the season. So that definitely qualifies as a terrible loss. Long Island's been mostly a defense-first team, but that defense has fallen off drastically. Their pace of play has been all over the place. We'll see if they can get back on track here, going on the road to take on the Wagner Seahawks, who are 12-10 this season, fresh off a 73-61 win there against Lemoyne. Obviously, Lemoyne, not a very good team, worst record in the NEC right now. So we'll see what Wagner can do in this one. Obviously, they played pretty well to put up 72 points in that game. A big second half for them, outscoring Lemoyne 45-29. We liked, in general, what we saw from the Seahawks, at least shooting the ball. They shot 56% from the field and 58% from 3. Not something you're going to see every day. They dominated the boards, though. That was a very good look. They did have a lot of turnovers, though. So there's positives, there's negatives about the Wagner Seahawks right now. No doubt about that. Their season-long numbers, they are fairly similar to what we see from LIU, to be honest. So looking at the numbers for this game, Wagner, they're actually a 1-point favorite here at home. We've got a total of 119. Long Island, 7-5-1 against spread on the road, 13-10 to the under. Wagner, 3-5 against spread at home, 11, 7-1 to the under. So, guys, I know that doesn't look like a very big number out there of 119, but I definitely think under is very, very live in this game, and I also think there's plenty of reason here to be on Wagner. I don't trust what I'm seeing from Long Island right now. They just look so bad out there. So, in a very niche game, I think the Wagner Seahawks are the way to go. Next up, we're looking at the Marist Red Foxes going on the road to take on the Fairfield Stags in an MAAC showdown. Marist comes in this game currently 9-1 out there in the MAAC, listed, looking at like the best team in the conference. They're fresh off a 72-67 win there against Siena. So yeah, not the toughest opponent. It was a close game. It was at home there for Marist. So a bit of a scare if I'm being honest. They're definitely going to want to improve on what they did in that one. We did see some positive things. I mean, they shot 33% from three. That's fine. They did a good job there on the boards with a 10 rebound edge. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, 19 points there from Elijah Lewis. That's not bad. Obviously, the bench played really poorly though, and Marist in general doesn't want to be playing this close of games against teams of that caliber. They've got a monster there in Josh Pasquarelli. He's played really well this season. They're not a monster offensive team. They play really good defense. They rebound the ball, and that's all despite playing at a very slow pace. So we'll see what they can do here on the road against Fairfield. The Stags come into this one losers of 3 in a row. They just got blown out there at Iona. Now they've come back home, but that hasn't necessarily made things that much better for them. They're only 68.5 points per game. That's 335th in the nation. So not necessarily loving what we're seeing from Fairfield here. They don't have a big time leading scorer. Fairfield is getting 5 points in this game. We've got a total of 131. Marist 5-4 against spread on the road, 10-9 to the under. Fairfield 4-4 against spread at home, and 11-10 to the over. Guys, I'm going to be on Marist here at -5. I think they've got a great chance to go on the road and get an easy win here. The last time these two teams met, we saw Marist get a 10-point win, so I think there's a chance they can win this game by at least 6. Seems reasonable to me. Next up, guys, we're looking at the WCC. We've got the St. Mary's Gales going on the road in this one to take on the San Francisco Dons. St. Mary's in a huge letdown spot here after a massive win against Gonzaga, winning that game 62-58. They did what they needed to do in their biggest game so far of the season and took care of business. They shot the ball really well in that game, 36% from deep in a big clutch situation. They also did a good job on the boards, not something that a lot of people saw coming. So a good day there for the St. Mary's Gales for sure. Their season-long numbers maybe don't wow you too much, but they're a great rebounding team and they play very solid defense, and that can make things very tough on any opponent. We'll see if that holds up here as they go on the road to take on the San Francisco Dons, who are currently in second place out there in the WCC. They are fresh off of a 75-51 blowout win against Washington State. And Washington State, guys, not obviously not the best team, but they're middle of the pack at least. We've loved what we've seen from Malik Thomas this season, scoring almost 20 points per game. This is a solid offensive team. They play some defense, and they're not too bad on the boards. Not great. I would say rebounding is a weakness for this team. So we'll see what they can do here. Catching St. Mary's in a huge letdown spot. I mean, the Dons are getting 6.5 points. We've got a total of 131.5. St. Mary's, though, they are 5-1 against spread on the road, 11-10-1 to the under. San Francisco 7-6 against spread at home, and 12-11 to the under themselves. Guys, this is just too big of a letdown spot after a huge win there for St. Mary's. I'm taking San Francisco at home in this one, getting 6.5 points. That's 3 possessions. I don't think St. Mary's is going to be 3 possessions better in this exact spot. So this is a play where the points seem to have tons and tons of value to me. Last but not least here, guys, we're looking at the Washington State Cougars going on the road to take on the Oregon State Beavers. Washington State comes in this game 15-9 on the season, but they have lost their last 4 in a row. Their last game, they got blown out at the San Francisco Dons, losing that one 75-51. So not a great look there. They just could not do anything right in that game. They shot 16.7% from 3 and under 40% from the field in general. They also got destroyed on the boards by a team that's not that great at rebounding. So definitely a bounce back spot here for Washington State. Not like they've been amazing this season. They're only 5-6 in conference play. So not a ton of positives here, but definitely some concerns as they go on the road to take on an Oregon State team that's 6-4 in conference play, 16-7 overall. They're fresh off a 98-60 just blowout loss there at Gonzaga. So we'll see if they got a bounce back in them. They definitely need it. They're a good offensive team. They play some defense. Their rebounding isn't great though, but they have done some good things this season for sure. This is going to be the first time they've played Washington State this year. So we'll see. They do have St. Mary's on deck, so that's a little bit concerning. A little bit of a letdown spot here, but they need to be locked in for this one. They're 7-point favorites. We've got a total of 147 out there. Washington State 3-5 against spread on the road, 13-11 to the under. Oregon State, an insanely good this season, 12-1 against the spread at home. They're 14-8 to the over themselves. Guys, I'm riding that huge Oregon State trend. I'll take them at -7. This isn't a play that's going in the pinned comment, though, because of that massive look-ahead spot for Oregon State. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Do me a huge favor, hit that like button, help me get these videos promoted out there. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, help us build this community. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. I'm more than happy to get back to you. I'll be answering those as quick as I can. And like I said, guys, those comments come straight to my phone, so I definitely do see them. Thank you for watching. Click the link in the description to go to stumpthespread.com. Make sure you get over there, get on our free email list so you don't miss out on our free plays coming out every single day. We will see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.